It doesn't matter if you're skipping meals. What really matters is how many calories you're consuming at the end of the day. Boom! What's going on, guys? My name is Tom, and for today's video, we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting and weight loss. Does intermittent fasting really help with weight loss? We're going to be discussing the pros and cons, the benefits of using intermittent fasting along with weight loss. And does it truly help with weight loss? So intermittent fasting is when you don't consume any type of food or calories for a certain period of time. So normally that would be 7 hours without eating. So when you wake up, right, breakfast is considered breaking your fast, right? But when people go about the intermittent fasting, they normally skip the breakfast, and the first meal usually is a lunch and or dinner, okay? So you are skipping 7 hours of eating, right, consuming any type of calories. So as a result, you should be losing weight. And is this true? Yes, it is true to some degree, right? So when you are skipping meals, yes, you are skipping on calories, therefore reducing your calorie intake throughout the day. But it really depends on the person. Just because you skip a meal doesn't mean you will excessively consume calories afterwards, right? Because if you're starving or if you're just not aware of what you are doing, you can easily overconsume on calories or on foods. Calories equals foods, right? Foods equals calories. Same thing with drinks and snacks and stuff like that, right? You can easily overconsume on calories, therefore being in a calorie surplus, therefore still gaining weight. And many people probably try this method hoping that they will lose body fat from utilizing the intermittent fasting approach. However, they are not aware or mindful of how many calories they are consuming at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you skip breakfast, lunch, and or dinner. What really matters is how much calories you're consuming at the end of the day. Intermittent fasting is supposed to help you reduce your calorie intake because you're skipping that meal. When you're skipping a meal, you're supposed to be in a calorie, not really supposed to, but it will help you be in a calorie deficit. In order to lose body fat, people, in order to lose weight, right, you need to be in a calorie deficit. In the first place, you got fat because you've been eating in a calorie surplus, meaning you've been eating more than what your body can handle or more than what your body can burn. So as a result, from eating all these foods in a calorie surplus, your body will store all these calories as fat, right? It will store it as fat because it has nothing to utilize it for, because it's in an excessive amount, right? So when you reverse that and go in a calorie deficit, right, eating less foods, essentially consuming fewer calories than typical, right, your body will begin to lose body fat because it's not consuming excess calories. So it will use the body fat, it will use the energies and the calories, you know, in an efficient manner, right? So when you use your energy in an efficient manner, it won't translate to fat gain. It will translate into weight loss, along with making your body healthier, stronger, durable, and perhaps building more muscle. You'll become more lean and building muscle tissue at the same time, right? And this is where intermittent fasting kind of comes in, because people will think, okay, since I skip breakfast, it will help me enter that calorie deficit phase or protocol, or hoping that the protocol will help with this, right? And it can, just really depends. But if you're overeating, essentially, that intermittent fasting did nothing. You know what I mean? So this is why a lot of people don't know why they're still fat or overweight when it comes to intermittent fasting. It doesn't matter if you're skipping meals. What really matters is how many calories you're consuming at the end of the day, right? I, in my opinion, think intermittent fasting is great for those who, you know, have an overeating problem or whatever the case might be, because you are skipping on meals that could potentially, you know, that could potentially put you in a calorie surplus phase. We don't want that. So I utilize the intermittent fasting in order to keep myself on the same level when it comes to losing body fat, but yet staying healthy at the same time. You don't want to be in a severe calorie deficit because that's just unhealthy, right? You want to be at a good level, let's just say, in order to see body weight dropping, right? So I know this is a lot of information to go about and to take into account, but if you're overweight, right, you need to understand how many calories your body truly needs, right? So if you're fat and overweight, you're eating way too much. You need to find the median, essentially, right? So once you found the median of not gaining weight, but yet not losing weight, that is called a calorie maintenance. You're not gaining weight, you're not losing weight, but you're maintaining that weight, okay? That's called calorie maintenance. And then from there, you dictate, you know, how many calories do I need in order to start losing body fat. And typically, it's not that much. So if you know you're in a calorie surplus, okay, once you found out your calorie maintenance phase, right? And then you can start decreasing your calories over time, right? By 100 to 200 calories, which is not much, to be honest, which is not much. If you're having like 3 sodas a day, just remove one of the sodas and there you go. That's 100 calories taken out from your daily consumption or your daily calorie consumption, right? And that is called a calorie deficit when you're eating less and less calories or fewer calories throughout the day, right? Not in an excessive manner. And as a result, your body will use up its own body fat as fuel, resulting in weight loss over time. It takes time in order to see these type of results, right? Especially if you're overweight and, you know, trying to strive for a calorie deficit phase, right? It takes time, right? You can't just automatically drop your calories from, or you can't just automatically drop your calories 1,000 calories every single day. That's too much. That's excessive, right? You want to do small steps when it comes to calorie deficit, because you can become ill if you severely, you know, neglect calories or food or, you know, stuff like that. You'll become malnourished, and it's just not a good look for the long-term aspect, okay? Intermittent fasting, in conclusion, will help you reduce your calorie intake at the end of the day because you're skipping meals, right? But if you notice that you are excessively eating after your intermittent fasting, then perhaps intermittent fasting isn't for you, right? A lot of people get these intense cravings and they just can't control themselves. So as a result, by utilizing the intermittent fasting, they stuff their face in hoping to curb that cravings and that appetite, right? But in reality, they're still excessively consuming calories, therefore still gaining weight. Okay, and this is why intermittent fasting can be useful and sometimes it is not useful, okay? At the end of the day, what truly matters is how many calories you're consuming, right? So if you're in a calorie surplus, if you're eating more than what your body can handle or use, essentially, then you will gain weight. So you need to be mindful and aware of how many calories you're consuming and how many calories your body essentially needs, right? And then from there, you make changes. Do I decrease my calories? Do I stay within my calories? Or do I increase the calories for whatever type of physique that you're looking for or wanting, right? So in order to find out how many calories your body needs for calorie deficit, maintenance, and surplus, you need to journal this, okay? It's a little bit tedious, but it's very simple. Trust and believe me. So if you're overweight, you already know that you're in a calorie surplus. So here's the thing. You need to take note of everything you're consuming as you are overweight at the moment, right? So jot down everything from the first meal to the last meal, including snacks, drinks, and everything, okay? So once you figure that out, you want to do this for a couple days, perhaps to a week, in order to get a baseline understanding of everything, what you're consuming, how much of it, so on and so forth, right? So once you've got the calories down and all the foods jotted down, we're not going to look at the foods, we're going to look at the calories. So if you're overweight and you notice that you're consuming, let's just say 4,000 calories, okay? That is an excessive amount of calories for your own body type, I should say. Everyone's different. And you are overweight by consuming these 4,000 calories on a daily basis. Maybe it's not on a daily basis, but it's consistent with it. You know what I mean? So that's a calorie surplus phase. Okay, that's your calorie surplus right there. Okay, because you're overweight, you are fat, and you have 4,000 calories on the table. So in order to lose body fat now, we need to do the opposite. So instead of 4,000 calories, we need to reduce that, not dramatically, but in small steps, right? Like I said prior, you don't want to decrease your calories like dramatically because you will become ill, malnourished, and so forth. We don't want to do that. We want to take the healthy approach. So what you want to do is you want to deduct about 200 to 300 calories from your 4,000 calorie surplus phase, right? So you've been eating 4,000 calories on a daily basis, whatever, right? So now you're wanting to lose body fat. Now you're going to deduct about 200 to 300 calories from your 4,000 calorie intake, which will leave you around, what, 3,600 calories? Okay, so the goal is to strive for 3,600 calories every day. If you go beyond 3,600 calories, you will enter the calorie surplus phase once again. We don't want that, okay? So when you go about the 3,600 calories every day, weeks on, you will notice weight loss. Now you may hit a curb, or you may halt your progression when it comes to weight loss, because now your body has adapted to this calorie deficit phase, right? So once you notice that, then you start decreasing your calories even more, okay? So we went from 3,600, now we're going to drop it to another 200 to 300, which will leave you to around 3,200 calories, maybe 3,300 calories. Now this is just an example. I know 3,200 calories is a lot depending on the person, but you understand my point. Now at 3,200 calories, you'll notice weight loss again, and that's it. In a nutshell, that's how weight loss works. That's how calories works. Calories in, calories out. Now, if you want to maintain a certain weight, right, you need to understand how many calories you're consuming, right? And then you strive for that calorie count every day in order to maintain a certain physique. So, for example, if you notice 3,200 calories is a perfect, calorie position for your body type, right? Then you stay within your 3,200 calorie goal every day, right? Because you're maintaining that body weight at 3,200 calories, right? So if you're wanting to gain weight, you increase your calories from 3,200 to like 3,500. If you want to lose weight, you simply deduct around 200 to 300 calories from your 3,200. So if you don't want to be in your maintenance phase no more, or maintaining that physique no more, and if you wanted to get a little bit more shredded, you decrease, like I said, 200 to 300 calories from your 3,200 calories that you've been going about, right? Now you're around 1,900 calories, and now that's how calorie deficit works. Simple as that. You just simply decrease your calories over time. It doesn't matter what you eat, what time of the day, whether if you skip breakfast, lunch, or whatever the case might be. No, what really matters is how many calories you're consuming, right? Now, of course, other things play a role. If you're eating vegetables, if you're getting a lot of fiber in, if you're exercising, so on and so forth, these play a major role when it comes to losing weight as well. Actually, it will help with the process of losing weight, because exercising burns calories. Healthy eating helps get rid of the toxins and the junks within your own body, therefore leading to better and more efficient, calorie burning, and more efficient body in general. Your body will function better once it's healthier. So as a result, it will lose body fat much easier. It will become more efficient, and overall, everything will be running more effectively and efficiently. And this is this is what everyone should strive for, right? You want to have your body functioning at its best for the best outcome and so forth, right? Because if you're overweight, obese, whatever the case might be, right, your body functions, your metabolism, and everything like that is being impacted greatly. And as a result, when your metabolism and everything else is affected, right, it hinders a lot of the things that you're trying to do, such as losing weight, building muscle, going about exercising, working out, so forth, right? I can't stress how bad and negative it is when it comes to being overweight, right? And especially being obese. So hopefully this video made sense. If it did, please give me a thumbs up. It will really show me that you guys enjoyed this video and that you learned something. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns. Subscribe to stay tuned in. Catch you guys later.